if you're new to my show, my name's Jonathan Smith. Thanks for tuning in. Head over to YouTube, Indie Sports Ticket. Subscribe. Okay, you can also download the Indie Sports Ticket app and stream and listen to the show that way. Now, in addition to this show, I also have a part-time job as a quarterback defense attorney. It's my second job. I defend quarterbacks. It doesn't pay very well, but I enjoy doing it. I do. And today, or last night, as a matter of fact, I got a call from Anthony Richardson. He said, hey, I need the best quarterback defense attorney because these people are saying that Joe Flacco should have my starting job. And I was like, don't worry about it, Anthony. I got you. And, Joe Flacco's supporters have submitted a bunch of things as evidence. They are submitting Joe Flacco going 33 of 44 for 359 yards and 3 touchdowns as evidence for him to be the starter for the Indianapolis Colts. And that's fine. Numbers are great, right? Especially when you ignore the costly turnover before halftime that allowed the Jacksonville Jaguars to kick a field goal. How much did the Colts lose by again? Oh, that's right. 3 points. That field goal very well might have ended up being the difference in the game, but the Joe Flacco supporters, they're going to ignore that. They're going to ignore the overthrow to a wide-open Mo Alley-Cox in the end zone with 6 minutes and 9 seconds left in the fourth quarter that cost the Colts a touchdown that would have tied the game at 27-27. Oh, man, that would have been nice. And here's the really annoying thing about that throw. If Anthony Richardson had been playing quarterback and he had missed that, it had been all over Twitter and would have been what everyone was talking about today. Wide open Mo Alley-Cox, easy touchdown pass. Joe Flacco missed the throw. But no, the Joe Flacco supporters, they don't want to look at that. Instead, they're going to focus on the stats and the numbers that Joe Flacco put up against the second worst pass defense in the NFL. They're going to focus on how the Colts scored 34 points against the 30th ranked defense in points allowed. Okay, those are the things that the Joe Flacco people want to focus on, which is fine. Can't all be deep thinkers and understand how the NFL works. Joe Flacco played good enough for the Colts to win yesterday. I will not deny that. He played incredibly well. If you wanted to tell me that Joe Flacco was better than Anthony Richardson right now, I would understand that take. I would. But here's the thing. He cannot be the starter for the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, Anthony Richardson playing right now is not about this year. It's about the future of the Colts franchise. If you want long-term success, you have to play a young quarterback and figure out if he's good or not. Serious question here. Indie Sports Ticket, that is the name of the YouTube channel. Head over there, find it, join the live stream, answer this question for me. What do the Colts get out of playing Joe Flacco this year? It's an honest question. I would love to know the answer to it. What do the Colts get? What do the Colts get out of playing Joe Flacco this year? The answer, my friends, is absolutely nothing. Even if you think that he's better than Anthony Richardson right now, let's just be honest about who Joe Flacco is. He's not good enough to win this division. Joe Flacco's not even good enough to win a playoff game. Okay, and here's the thing. Joe Flacco may not even be good enough to get the Colts to the playoffs. Joe Flacco is good enough to get the Colts to around 500. That is who he is as a quarterback. The people vouching for Joe Flacco to be the starter, they're going to look at his success that he's had throughout his career, right? And they're going to throw out things like he was a Super Bowl MVP in Baltimore. He won a bunch of games in Baltimore. He came in late last year for the Browns and got him to the playoffs and all those things. They're going to ignore the fact that he's turned the ball over religiously throughout his entire career and that, he turned the ball over every game that he played in last year. But hey, who cares about that? Here's the thing, though. Do you know what Joe Flacco has had everywhere that he's won? A great, not good, great defense. The Ravens always had one of the best defenses in the NFL when Joe Flacco was winning games for them. The Browns last year had the best defense in the NFL. That is why the Browns won last year, not because of Joe Flacco. Okay? I don't know if you've been watching, but the Indianapolis Colts do not have an elite defense this year. They have, as a matter of fact, a bad one. Don't delay the inevitable. play Anthony Richardson. Let's say the Colts play Joe Flacco this year. What's the plan next year? Joe Flacco is going to be 40. Don't know about you, but I don't want a 40-year-old Joe Flacco as my starting quarterback. Next year, they will have to play Anthony Richardson. At some point, the Colts have to take the time to figure out if Anthony Richardson is the future or not, because the truth is, we don't know yet. He started and finished 4 games in his career. That's it. When the Indianapolis Colts drafted Anthony Richardson, they knew he was a project. They knew it would take time to develop him. And the only way to see if the development is happening, the only way to see if Anthony Richardson is getting better is for him to play on Sundays. And let's be honest about the Colts right now. If there's any time to experiment and to play a young quarterback to figure out if they're good or not, it is right now. The Colts aren't a threat to anyone in the playoffs with a defense this bad. The Colts they're not making the playoffs if the defense continues to be this bad. It's not happening. Play Anthony Richardson. At some point, the Colts have to figure out if he's the future of their franchise or not. Okay, and here's the thing. Let's say the Colts play Anthony Richardson this year, and he's not very good. And the Colts go 5-12, 6-11, whatever it is. And Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen don't like what they see. Guess what they can do with a record of 6-11 or 5-12? They can draft another quarterback. Okay, and move on from Anthony Richardson if they think that he isn't the guy. Okay, you can't do that with Joe Flacco, and you go 9-8. It's not an option. You won't have a draft pick high enough to take the quarterback that you want. And look, I get it. Okay, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. They've been bad my entire life. They were good these last 2 years, but that's it. Everyone wants to watch their favorite football team win. That's what everyone wants, and I fully understand that. But sometimes you have to invest in your future, and it is not fun. It's not fun at all. Okay, seeing a percentage, or I don't know about you, but for me, seeing a percentage of my paycheck go into my retirement plan every 2 weeks when I get paid, it's not fun. It's boring. I hate it. I don't know about you, but the instant gratification part of me would rather take that money that I see going into my future, into my retirement account. I would rather, take that money and put it towards an awesome vacation. That would be so cool. That would be the cool thing that would make me happy right now. But I'm not going to do that because I know that investing in that retirement plan is going to make my future better. It's important to invest in the future. And it's the exact same thing right now with the Indianapolis Colts. Playing Anthony Richardson now helps them know what to do in the future. They play Joe Flacco. He gives you another mediocre season where you don't make the playoffs and you go 8-9 or 9-8. And when I showed up here in Indianapolis, I was under the impression that Indianapolis Colts fans were sick and tired of going 9-8 or 8-9. But the ones chanting for Joe Flacco clearly aren't. The NFL is backwards. Okay, the only way to compete for Super Bowls is to first be bad. The only reason why the Houston Texans are good right now, the only reason why they're 4-1, okay, with the potential chance to be the number 1 seed in the AFC, the only reason they're in that position was because 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever it was, they were awful. They were bad. They had the number 2 pick in the draft. That's the only reason why they're in this position now. The only reason why the Kansas City Chiefs have an opportunity to be the first team in the history of the NFL to three-peat. The only reason why they have that chance is because they were bad, 8 years ago or whatever it was, and they were able to draft Patrick Mahomes. Okay, the only way to reach a point where you consistently make the playoffs and consistently compete for titles, the only way to reach that point is to be bad. Okay, so the Colts need to play Anthony Richardson, figure out if he's the future or not. If he's not, you leave him out there. You go 5-12, 6-11, and then you hopefully draft your next franchise quarterback. That is the reality of the NFL. That is the way that this works. That is the only way that this works. It sucks. It's not fun, but that is the reality of the NFL. And because that's the reality, Anthony Richardson needs to play this year. And while we're all depressed that the Indianapolis Colts are bad, at least we have Indiana football. Indiana football 6-0, ranked 18th in the country in the latest AP poll. Thoughts on them when we come back here in about 4 minutes.